Hello, welcome to our another exciting webinar. And this time I have another famous personality, happen to be my good friend. And yeah, we know each other for a long time. He has all kind of certificates. If I start counting, probably we end up talking about his certificates only. But anyway, I will give a little introduction about myself and then Mansoor, and then we get started with this program. So first of all, thank you all of you for joining this program. This is a privilege to be, coming back again in front of you to give you, bring some new topic, bring some new people. So this is going great. I know we are going through COVID situation. Actually, COVID has given me more ideas to bring more and more people in this kind of forum. So I know, guys. So this is a tough situation. We're still not out of COVID, and we don't know yet how long it will take. So I like to be optimistic that it should be finished in the next 3 months or 6 months. But we can't. We don't know. But what we know, how can we be more ready with this current situation? Current situation being in COVID or in future after COVID is done. So being proactive, where if we are more proactive, we are taking actions, we will be more ready for a situation if some unfortunate situation happen. We are more employable, as well as if you stay in the organization, people have more trust in you. So that's why these certificates like a Scaled Agile or PGMP, PFMP, all kind of certificates can help you not only to stay meaningful, but also to grow in the organization. So with this, my name is Dharam Singh, and I have been training PGMPs, PFMPs, and PMPs, running a company called WeCare Project Management. So we're going for last 11, 12 years now. I started this company in Australia. That's where Mansoor come along, and we got formed this team. And this is going great. I mean, I'm not in Australia now. I'm moved from Australia to US for last 2 years or 1.5 years. But I'm still connected with my Australian roots, and while growing my company in United States. So this is where I am going to give you value, and Mansoor going to give you value through this webinar. And we have option for you to join our future programs. By the end of program, I will be offering you a discount code. If you want to join our program, you will be able to save some extra money. So with no further delays, I'd like to introduce Mansoor Muhammad. He is based out of Australia, Sydney, and he moved to Sydney, I think 7 years, 8 years now. I don't know.
8 years, yeah.
8 years, and that's where we got connected. So I remember the day when he came all the way and said, Dharam, I wanted to meet with you, and I wanted to join your prestigious organization. And at the time, my organization was very small. I was feeling very proud. Okay, somebody has called my organization a prestigious organization. So that is where I got dream that I'm going to make sure that this organization becomes meaningful. So with the help of Mansoor and few other colleagues, I'm happy to say that we are reaching to those heights very, very soon. So here today, we're going to talk about leading safe, especially imperative of business agility, using Scaled Agile framework. So Mansoor has been talking about SAFe for a long time. I don't think anybody else who is so much into Agile for last 5 years, 6 years. So no further delays. I'd like to invite let Mansoor talk about it, and if required, I can come in between. So Mansoor will be talking most time. Mansoor, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dharam, for your kind words. And still, we as a family, we miss you a lot, right? And even people in Sydney miss you a lot. We wish you were here with us, but that's life. Parting is part of the life, right? And change is the constant of life. So we wish you all the good luck in expanding WeCare in the US, not only in US, but all parts of the world. So let all your good work and the team's good work reach to every corner of the world, and we produce more relevant project managers in the industry. So as Dharam rightly said, I've been associated with Dharam for quite some time. We can talk about our association and friendship for a very long time, but we'll not waste time on that. You can connect me and Dharam on LinkedIn. You have my LinkedIn details here. So thanks, Dharam, again for introducing me. And today we are going to explore what is business agility and how it is relevant in this time of pandemic. Okay. So as Dharam mentioned, my name is Mansoor. I have a few certifications under my belt, and also my research is about organization agility, and I talk about governance in agile environment. That's my research. That's my PhD. I'm doing it from University of Sydney. Hopefully to complete it very soon, but yeah, that's where it is. I've been an SPC from 2013, which is almost 7 years, 8 years. 2013, I got myself accredited through Scaled Agile framework, and I was mentored by Dean Leffingwell. Luckily, he was here in Australia, and that's where my safe journey starts. Well, thanks everyone for joining the session. I could see about 16 participants coming, right? And now I'm very pleased and delighted to say that WeCare is now a bronze partner with Scaled Agile Framework organization, so Scaled Agile Institute. So we are part of the Scaled Agile family, right? So with this, we can deliver about 9 different programs, which includes Leading Safe, which is upcoming in the month of February. Dharam is going to discuss the schedule and the costing at the end. And we have some exciting discounts for you guys as webinar participants, if you can join in the next 4 days, right? So Dharam is going to talk about that more in detail. All right, without wasting much time, let's get started. So agility has been there in our world for a very long time. And I was doing my research, I found that while the British got into the mining, the coal mining, they started talking about having self-organized team, right? And then the Toyota production system, and they started talking about lean philosophies, lean methodologies. So lean and agile are been in our industry for a very long time. Okay, so that is where the things are. Then, as we move further, this started getting more closer, where people started to have a process in place, and then in 2001, you had the people who came into Utah Resort, and they created the Agile Manifesto, and that's where the Scrum Alliance came into being, right? And then you had people from all different walks of Agile families coming together, from XP, from Lean, from DSDM, right? From Crystal, from from RUP, all these different methodologies, they came in together and they started creating something called the Agile Manifesto and the Agile Principles. PMI started to choose a certification called PMI ACP, right, which is a great certification, which we also deliver from WeCare, but also Scaled Agile in 2011, they started coming up with Scaled Agile certification. I've been involved with 3.0, and that's where we started thinking as a team as to, yes, agility at a team level is fine, but how do we scale this at an organization level? Okay, how does this get scaled to an organization level? And that's where the Scaled Agile framework comes into picture. We talk about not only going agile at a team level, but also at a program level, at a portfolio level, at a business level, at an organization level, and see all these different paradigms and directions. Okay. All right. With all these changes happening today with this pandemic, right? The world is pretty moving fast. Initially, you had people who got into the industrial revolution, and they started talking about getting into the steam trains. They started talking about building heavy engineering, mass oil production, digital software. But what about now? You will have a bracket, an imperative here, which will fill in the question mark as to what is it the future. So we may have one more line drawn in future, which may say pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. So let me ask a question to Dharam. Dharam, based upon your understanding, how has world changed in our training business and training organization post-pandemic?
So actually, we are not post-pandemic. We are still in the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we got hit by this dangerous thing, COVID-19, last year around this time.
Okay,
And
sorry, let me rephrase my question. Can
yeah,
you define our training industry pre-pandemic, during pandemic,
oh
and
yes.
where do you see yourself in post-pandemic?
So pre-pandemic, I used to travel. As you know, I was going around the world. Saudi Arabia was my last trip, but that's where physical training was happening. But during the COVID, yes, initially I was feeling very bad. You know what's going to happen, but soon, very soon, I realized that you know what, it's actually good news for me because now I can train anybody from anywhere. So I utilize this as an opportunity. So now most of the programs happening virtually. Post pandemic, of course, it will be a mix of now people realize that you know what, remote trainings are not bad, it's actually good, and also some training will happen as a physical. So that's what I can see for next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, thank you, Dharam. That's a very good thought, and that's a beauty, team, where people. So there is a glass which is half full or half empty. Is the way how you see it, right? So Dharam saw this as an opportunity. He saw half full rather than half empty. Correct? That's what he tried to think about and how he could change. And now post pandemic, just to add a little more to what Dharam said, you never know. Organizations may start honing up the holograms, right? So you may have a holoman or a hologram coming of Dharam to your lounge room, not to inhibit your privacy, but you may have Mansoor and Dharam, their holograms or anything of those sort of digital avatars coming into your drawing rooms to train you project management. What do you think, Dharam?
That's a good I'm looking forward to that, going around the
Absolutely,
world
right?
without moving anywhere.
Absolutely, right? Without moving anywhere, you may have those holograms. And I've heard this going to happen very quick, where organizations, you can actually train the hologram exactly the way how you teach people. So it'll use your own language, your vocabulary, and your voice, right?
Hmm.
And then you can have half the training done through videos and half the training done through holograms and required support coming as an individual rather than, going around and spending 3 or 4 days in an organization together.
Can't
Good,
wait.
absolutely. So that is where the technology revolution is going to happen. And in one of my futuristic conference, which I had been before the COVID could start, about a year and a half back, already in COVID for more than a year. So they said the most swankiest thing in your house is going to be your washroom, your toilet, where the report every morning goes to the doctor, and the doctor will call up and say, "Hey Mansoor, hey Dharam, what did you eat last night?" And the next swankiest thing in your house will be your fridge, where it can open from the top, and even the house, the house roof will open, and there'll be a drone who'll come and drop a bottle of milk or a can of beer into your fridge. So, or maybe you may have like a carport, you'll have a drone port where every house will have a drone point mandatory where people can, receive their goods. So it sounds exciting in future. Dharam, what do you think? Do you think we'll see this very soon?
Very soon. We should see very
Very
soon
soon.
in our lifetime.
Absolutely. And that is where you need organization agility and a business agility and an agile mindset, right? So there are plenty of examples of organizations who did not evolve. The people who saw half empty were organizations like Nokia. Nokia saw half empty. They were into the race of developing a mobile phone, but they were the ones to roll out, and they were the ones to connect people, and they actually captured a large market share. But what happened is they did not see the wave of technology coming in. When there was a research being done about message in motions, where mobile phones can actually deliver emails along with SMS, Nokia did not see that. They were too happy with their Symbian operating system. They did not see the wave of technology coming in and engulfing them. Even though they were part of the research, they contributed to the research, and they did not make a change, right? Similarly with Blockbuster, I'm sure you know the story of Blockbuster. They did not evolve. They were still selling the cassettes and the CDs of movies. And one fine day, there was a gentleman who came in and took the CD for hire, not the CD, the cassette for hire, and did not return on time. And he had to pay a penalty for not returning. and he started his own business called Netflix, and that's where Netflix is today. Amazon redefined themselves multiple times to be market leader today, right? So that is where business agility plays an important role, where organization needs to evolve over time to make themselves relevant for today's business. Correct? Okay, so as we move forward, yes, there will be organizations who are into the installation period, and then there's a turning point which happens because of a new technology coming in, and this technology could decline over a period of time. But also, as we go further, we have these new tech giants take over the other smaller organizations, right? So the big sharks eating up the small fishes. So you will see that happening pretty a lot, right? And this is the time where you will see a lot of startups coming to solve a problem. So people will have time to solve a problem, and many of these organizations will either grow as multinationals to a level of multinationals, or these could be acquired by organizations and they could help this larger organization solve a problem. Now, to think big, we need to see if our organization structure actually work to incorporate this change. So John Kotter rightly mentioned, you need to rethink with this change. Are we ready for this change? Do our existing hierarchical command and control project program portfolio environment still work, right? Do we have the right systems in place? Do we have the culture? And these cultures and systems are built over the past centuries. And they rightly say, right, I'm sure you've heard of this, culture eats strategy for breakfast. No matter how great strategies your organization do have, but if your organizations do not have the right culture, we do not survive and we do not sustain, right? So that is where things come into picture. So it's very important to understand the organization culture and also the operating system of the organization. So you'll have an organization. I'm not saying command and control is good or bad, or agile is good or bad. Every organization is unique, and every organization requires a unique operating system, right? So in some organizations, yes, you need traditional command and control style approach with some flavor of agility at every level. In some cases, you need to have an organization agile from the leadership thinking to the portfolio, to the program, and to the project management space, right? And that's why SAFe becomes so important to keep things in space. We started with a network. We started growing our network, right? We had customer centricity in one corner. We did consider this network started to overlap with the hierarchies, right? And we also started pushing speed for innovation. We started to push things and we wanted to innovate, right? So Dharam, what is your definition for innovation? Sorry to keep asking you questions again here. How do you define innovation?
You should have given me a list of questions before.
Sorry?
You should have given me a list of questions before.
No, that's all right. I mean, let's keep it a discussion.
No, that's fine. I'm just kidding. So innovation, we have been doing a particular way and exploring the new way of doing things.
Absolutely.
How can I improve my productivity by twisting something or bringing some new tools, new way of doing things?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a perfect answer. That's an amazing answer, right? Did we ever think about innovation pre-pandemic? Yes, to a certain extent, but now we have to do everything in our capacity as a training organization to innovate, add more activities, keep more interactions with our students, right? Touch base with them until they are successful. Have a definition of success, what success means to them, what success means to us as an organization, right? So things have changed, right? So we started getting more closer to our customers now. We understand what they need. As a training organization, we have started to customize our training rather than just deliver a set standard training. We check with the organization, what do they need? We start having more discovery calls now, correct? Anything you feel, Dharam?
Yeah, no, we have made few changes. As you correctly said, success. Our customer success is most important for us. So we go extra length to make sure that they have everything they need from us and keep supporting them. So that's where, so for us, customer-centric view. making sure the customer has all what they need to be successful in their what they want to do.
Absolutely, spot on, right? So that plays a very important, and that's how you grow a community, you grow a cohort of project program portfolio managers, whether they are doing traditional or waterfall or agile, right? In any of this, that's not what is the real prerogative. The real prerogative is there's only one boss. The boss is your customer. The customer can hire or fire any one of us, whether we are working in an organization or working for ourselves, right? Customer is the boss, and customer centricity is the key. And it's very important for us to map our customer's journey from the beginning to an end, right? Whether it is a customer who's looking for buying a house using a bank mortgage system, or an insurance, or even a training, right, from VK Project Management. Right? So that's very important. We need to understand customers, and we need to understand customers better they can understand themselves, right? So if the customer knew everything, they would not come to us. They only come to us because they know only half of the equation or a part of the equation, and they're looking for us as peers, as mentors to solve a problem.
Mansoor, just I like to advise the participants or the attendees, you have option to ask questions. So please keep writing your question on the question pad. Whenever right time come, I will ask Mansoor about those questions.
Thank you, Dharam. Thank you so much. All right, so guess what happened with all these hierarchies? There was a huge disaster. Why? Because people on the top had a different perspective, and people at the bottom, they did not understand. When you ask strategy, what is strategy, to different people in the executive team, everyone has got a different answer, right? So the person, a CEO on the top, will have a different meaning of strategy, and when it comes to the director level, it changes, and when it comes to the managerial level, it further gets diluted, and when it comes to the team level, it totally gets, the message gets lost. There's a beautiful video which I show in my workshop, which is about Chinese whisper, and in a face-to-face class, normally I do this in a class where I start a message. I make people stand in a line, and I ask them to start with a message from the first person. By the time it reaches the 20th person, the message is changed, right? And this happens because of the heavily gated and heavily hierarchical command and control styles, right? And to make a change of this, it's very important to understand from the horse's mouth, from the CEO's mouth, what the organization vision, mission, and strategy is, which gets lost in most of the time. All right, let's move a little forward. Trying to change the slide. The solution is not to trash what we know, right? It's easy to trash, but it's quite difficult to retain, right? So the solution is not to trash what we know and start over again, but to reintroduce a second operating system which will work with the existing framework. And this second framework is Scaled Agile framework, which we are talking for you, where we need a dual operating system, where we add business agility, and we work with the hierarchical teams to ensure efficiency and stability, right? So these management systems, which are there for many, many, many years, they give you efficiency and stability. We still need those hierarchies, right? Along with those hierarchies, what we do is we talk about speed of innovation, and we talk about customer centricity. What we do here is to create that second operating system. We get the people from all different teams together and create something called a value stream, where they work together, decision process becomes easier, and there is a speed of execution, and customer centricity keeps up. And for that second operating system, we have at our fingertips, which is called a value stream network, or the SAFE environment, which we talk. This is a very strong statement from Dean Leffingwell. He's the creator of SAFE, and he's been my mentor. I've been training with him. It was a great experience learning from him. But there's one point which I disagree even till date, and I always keep pushing the Scaled Agile Framework Academy as to make this change. So every business is software. I do say that it's just not a software or a hardware. It is humanware. I talk about human centricity. I talk about humanware here, right? The day I'd like to see this word software changes into humanware, because it's just not about software. It's not about hardware. It is about how organizations reach business agility. How do they attain business agility, right? And how they engage, how they proactively deliver, innovate business, right? How they make themselves lean, how they make themselves adaptable, how do they adapt to the competition, right? That is very important. Business agility requires technical agility. It requires team level agility. So a lot of organizations are great at a team level. Okay. So you talk about Scrum, XP, Lean, Kanban, they're all doing well. They're all great. Everything is fine, right? But the moment you scale that up to a program or portfolio level, everything comes crashing. Why? Because at a program portfolio level, they still talk about gates, they still talk about governance, they still talk about command and control style. They still talk about, can I have a business case with plus or minus 20% or 10%, accurate estimates, because I need to know my funding. Can I know what is my end date of my project? Can I know when should I ship? Right? So these questions actually kill or try to inhibit an agile project. So organization, agile at a team level, having traditional environment at a program or portfolio level actually does not help an organization to a certain extent. So what do we need to do? Do we need to make everything agile? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. So as a consultant, when I work with organization in large agile transformation programs, and I'm also part of the Business Agility Institute here in Australia, Melbourne, we talk about how do we build these solutions, how our customers are unique, to what level do we apply business agility, right? We have something called a radar survey. So we do a due diligence. We actually get to understand to what level are they flying, are they crawling? So what level is an organization at? And we provide business solutions to see how they can go. All right, safe for lean enterprise is a knowledge-based, proven, integrated principles, practices. It has got DevOps, business agility. So this is an open platform. So if you type in www.scaledagilepframework.com, you will see this complete big picture. We call this as big picture. In this big picture, we talk about the enterprise, organization agility, lean portfolio management, agile product development, agile product deliveries. We'll talk about all this as we go, and this is extensively covered in a 2-day program. Why safe? A little marketing slide here, but I'll take the liberty to talk about this because there's one important element which I would like to highlight, which is the case studies. So if you go to Scaled Agile Framework website, there are case studies. It talks about all the different business units, all the different industries where actually Scaled Agile has been relevant. One of the best implementation which is highlighted is from Post-Australia. Post-Australia became agile at a whole organization enterprise level. You could take a look at that, and a lot of different organizations who got, including Telstra, so on and so forth. 50% faster to market, reduction of defect because there's continuous feedback loop happening with the quality as well as the delivery team, increased productivity because of happy team, happier and motivated employees because they're working together, quicker decision making, right? And everyone gets to participate in the decision making rather than working in silos. Any questions so far? Anything you'd like to add, Dharam?
I do have a question from audience. How can I advise C-level executive about the benefit of creating value stream with an agile focus in a company in the presence of various countries, with a presence in various countries? So you got the question?
Okay, we'll answer these questions at the end, Dharam. Yeah, I'll answer that question, but we'll take all these questions. But
okay, I thought you're asking. Yeah, no worries. Because I thought you're asking a question, but we have a question.
Yeah, we'll ask them. Okay, no worries. I'll take the questions then.
Yeah.
All right. Safe configuration. Before we get into this, basically there are 4 levels of configurations. Okay. So the first level is essential safe, which is team level safe. Here, what we have done in 5.0 is we have added a change, which is essential configuration contains program level also. Previously, we used to have team level as an essential configuration. We said no. Now, if you do not involve the program level, moving safe does not make sense. You need to have a program manager, which is called a release train engineer in our environment, who's more like a program manager, who's the facilitator of something called PI planning, program increment planning, which you will get to simulate in this 2-day program. When you do a leading safe program, you get to simulate that. And then we talk about the second level. Can we add the portfolio configuration? The third level of configuration, large solution configuration, comes into picture when you have a supplier who becomes a part of your enterprise. And then you have a full configuration safe where you have essential safe, portfolio safe, and large solution safe all coming together. So based upon the maturity of your organization, you can actually decide to choose. Most of the organization decide to go bottom up. They still first go essential safe because team is always ready to go agile. And then they try to add a portfolio level, or then they try to get the solution, which is their vendors and partners, which they want to go. All right, now the big picture. This is really exciting. I can spend a lot of time on this, but yeah, yes, I do. I'm conscious of the time. It's almost half the time completed. So yes, so this particular picture, big picture, talks about, say, from an organization level. So you can have an organization, an enterprise. This could be a public or a private, right? It could be a government organization or a private sector or a public sector, right? And from there, you'll have epic owners. Epic owners are also business owners. You have enterprise architects. Enterprise architects help build a runway. Now, the analogy is of a train. Imagine you have to run a train. For the trains to run, you need a track, right? So the enterprise architect, they set up tracks for your value streams to run. Okay? And the epic owners and architects, they talk about the budgets, the lean budgets. So we need to have a change in mindset about our budgeting process, right? So the budgeting processes here has to be, the budgeting processes have to change. We need to ensure there's a continuous flow of funding as long as my value streams are delivering value for the business, right? We'll talk about guardrails to keep things in control, right? We'll talk about enablers. We build enablers and epics. Epics are nothing but large initiatives which are derived from your strategic themes, which get translated into your portfolio backlog. The portfolio backlog is visible, and that gets trickled down into a solution backlog, from a solution backlog to a program backlog, and then to a team backlog. So we have visibility at all levels, right? All the teams come together to build a solution. You have the supplier who comes in to form a solution train, right? And that's where the capabilities of a solution gets built, right? And you start demoing that solution. And at a program and at a team level, when we talk about essential safe, we talk about an agile release train. So agile release train is a group of 100 plus people, 125 people who come together, who explore together, who integrate together, who deploy together, and they release on demand, right? And they release a solution context when the customer is ready to accept a solution. Now, to run the solution, to run this agile release train, you have something called PI planning, program increment planning. This program increment planning is the heartbeat of SAFe. Okay, so this one, what you see here, let me just use a marker, pen, right? So this one here, PI planning, is the heartbeat of SAFe. It's a 2-day event, right? So in Leading SAFe, we'll walk you through this 2-day event. We'll exactly go time to time, exactly talking about how it is. We use a case study. We have a Geekbook case study, which we start off from creating a vision, and then we start rolling out the top features. We talk about the architectural structure, how do we build that, and then we start talking about how do we break the feature down into stories, prioritize, create a program board, create a business objective, right? Create a program objective, create team objectives. We also do something called roaming of risk. We also do a SWOT analysis to know what strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats are. And then after this 2-day event, the team goes back and they start delivering as per iterations. Okay, they have these 5 iterations. 4 iterations are for delivery, and the 5th iteration is for innovation planning, which is more for innovating and redefining the team and the business as to how they can actually improve things before coming to the 2nd year. And this goes on until the value is delivered to the customer.
Yeah. So Mansoor, just for the people who cannot, I know it's very too much information in the same slide, and actually this is coming direct from Scaled Agile website. So if you or anyone want to download it, you're more than welcome to go into the Scaled Agile website, and you can see this picture in detail. You can actually zoom into this. It's very interactive picture as well. So Yeah, I know I'm having difficulty because I'm looking at my laptop, but I'm sure people are having. But if they wanted to watch or look at in the detail, they can go to the website. Do you know the website
Absolutely.
name?
www.scaledagileframework.com. I will share it along the slides when we send the slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, www.scaledagile. And this is interactive website. So when you click on each of the icon, it takes you into a content. So you can go into
Yeah.
the content and read the content, what it is. You do not have to be a safe member, Scaled Agile Framework member to access this. It's open and free for everyone. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, good. So as we go, we also see vision, we see roadmap, we see milestones, we see matrix, we see implementation roadmap, we see a lot of different exciting and interesting things happening around, and this is all covered in the two-day event which we. All right, 7 core competencies of business agility. So to your organization to become agile or to get into more agility space, the first and foremost underpinning quality or competency is customer centricity. Customer is a heartthrob of everything what we do. We need to have lean portfolio management. In this area, we talk about agile PMOs. So in my research paper, I have got a concept, something called dancing PMOs. Okay, pretty interesting. Okay, once the paper get published, people can read it. I talk about how these PMOs actually change and tune based upon the organization's complexity, the number of people, the governance structures, what they have. I call that as dancing PMOs, right? And then we have organization agility, talking about how organizations need to revisit and be agile, a continuous learning culture, right? And both Dharam and myself, we are a huge proponent. We love this continuous learning culture. We are long life learners, right? And Dharam can add a little to his long life continuous learning journey where he keeps upgrading, I keep upgrading ourselves, and we try to keep pushing ourselves. So for example, we did our disciplined agile certification, and yeah, so our journey never stops. Our journey never stops. As they say, city never sleeps. So continuous learning journey never stops. Want to add something there for the continuous learning journey?
Exactly. So no, that's perfect. Very good point. Like, it's not about age, how old you're getting. It's about while you're getting older, you should be learning more and more doors can open for you. So we have been learning, and we, not just because we're training or company running company, we also do the training and make sure we are upgraded ourselves. Like you did today, the 5.1. Even the Scale Agile very well, but you did the next version of Scale Agile. So this is how we continue to learn, and we promote keep learning.
Absolutely. That's the way forward, right? So we need to reinvent ourselves. We need to understand. So as individuals, as businesses, we need to take a stock of ourselves. Every year, yes, we grow older, which is fine, but what are we losing? What are we gaining, right? How have I improved myself as an individual, as a contributor to my organization? That learning journey never stops. Learning is everywhere. And I remember this phrase from Three Idiots, which is one of both our favorite, both Dharam's and my favorite movie. In that, I remember Amir Khan says that I'm sure people from the Indian background will understand this much better. He says, education is everywhere. You just need to know how to get it. All you need to do is to get a uniform and sit in the class and just keep learning. Correct? Pretty interesting thing he says. Correct. So
yes.
Okay. So yeah, lean leadership. This is a very important concept. So a leader, people say that they are leaders, but unfortunately, today's environment, we have leadership with a hard mindset. They do not want to change. In lean leadership, we do talk about how leaders need to have a growth mindset. They're not only thinking about growing themselves, but also others. And that's one reason why I enjoy working with Dharam for the last 7-8 years, whatever we are working together with, right? So he encourages not only me, but others, right, to grow, not only himself, not only for the organization, but also the others to grow. So that's very important for organizations to have a lean leadership and agile leadership, where they are the ambassadors for change. They help organizations grow, they help team members grow, they help themselves. And I used to work for a company called EMC Storage many years back, and I used to have a manager. Whenever I used to go with a problem, he used to say, please do come to me with certain solutions so that we can be here and navigate. And whenever I get stuck with a problem, even now, when I ask Dharam says, Mansoor, what do you think? Right? And that's a quality of an agile leader. Because an agile leader does not give you solutions. An agile leader helps you navigate and helps navigate the team to get the right solutions. Because at the end of the day, the team is the one who's delivering that solution or a problem to solve. Any point to add there on here?
No, I mean, that's what the model should be, agile leadership and lean leadership, not sitting behind the bureaucracy and this and that. You are kind of servant leader. You are making your team enable your team to achieve success. Their success is organization success. You're not taking the credit for that. Let them take the credit, and you bring the environment, build the environment where they can be openly or be productive and do whatever they want to do and achieve the success for themselves, for the organization.
Absolutely, right? You need to be an enabler, a servant leader, a person who enables, not become a bottleneck, right? Yeah. So that's very important. Yes, we can always go back to our bosses, our managers, and ask them questions, but what is it going to do? It's only going to create more bureaucracy, right? So allow the information to be in the people who are in the ground floor, who are doing the work. Okay, they should have access to that information. Okay, once that access is there, things start moving, right? Team and technical agility. This we do know. We know Scrum, XP, Lean, Kanban. We know Agile product delivery. We've been doing this. Enterprise solution delivery, that has been there. We talk about how do we deliver the cyber physical systems, the large enterprise solutions, right? How do we involve our suppliers in this environment, right? So these 7 core competencies play a very important role to underpin our business agility environment in safe environment. And we go through much in detail when we do the a little repeat of these slides, which I just covered. Why team and technical agility? Because we know the team in today's digital age is depending upon solutions which customers need, and it's very important for us to know from the customer's prerogative as to what customers need. There is something called a Kano model, which we'll discuss in the class, right? So we talk about the exciters, the delighters. We talk about what excites our customers, what delights our customers. Yes, delivering a training, great, but the icing on top of the cake after delivering the training, the amount of support which Dharam and myself will give to the student until they clear the exam, that is the icing on top of the cake, right? That's important to make them successful, to talk to them, to make them stop when they are about to fail and say, okay, you're not ready for this exam, or say, okay, fine, you guys are good, you guys can go ahead. So that adds cherry on top of the cake, where we support our teams, we support our customers to see how they can move forward. Team and technical agility, yes, here we do talk about the testing team, the compliance team, operation team come together, pair programming, which we have done in extreme programming, that comes in collective code ownership, not one person is owner. But again, there's an interesting research paper during my research journey which I saw. There was one paper which struck my attention, which was when teams look right, the leader looks left, right? So this paper was talking about, yes, collective code ownership is good, collective ownership is good, right? But where does the buck stop? What happens when there is an agile team which fails, right? Who takes the ownership? Is it the leader or the team and the leader? That was pretty interesting. So that collective code ownership plays a very important role, right? It's just not the team failing or the leadership failing, it's a collective ownership which happens. Automation, definition of done, these all inbuilt quality into the process, and these are enabled by a product owner, scrum master, and the teams. Product delivery, yes, here we develop on cadence, right? So we develop on cadence because we need to have a structured type of events which was happening. So I was talking to Dharam before this webinar could start, and I was saying, like, yes, we do announce safe programs, which is great. Now we are the bronze partners. We need to create a cadence for all our training. So people should know every second month we have a leading safe training, or we have a safe for product owner, safe for product manager, or safe for teams, right? So there are about 8 products from the safe family, 9 products from the safe family. So we need to create a cadence because the customers will know what the cadence is and when we are ready to go to deliver this on a cadence and on demand. Design thinking is important. Customer centricity is important. I've been emphasizing this as I go. Releasing on demand plays a very important role. So the organization needs to be mature to release when the customers want. So I can't say my customer, oh yeah, you know what, my next training for this particular organization is going to be in next 2 months. So there was a requirement which just came in about, I think, a few days back, right, Dharam, which was for delivering a program for one of the leading organizations. And they were looking for a certain training. And we had to talk to them and come up with a quick plan, an action plan which suits their environment and launch the program for next week. So that is very important. So you need to adopt to the customer or adapt to the customer as the customer requires, rather than you saying that I have got this set agenda here and I'm going to only deliver this. If you want to eat, eat. If not, you can leave. No, that does not happen, right? So in our environment, we need to see how do we release when the customer needs something. Want to add something, Dharam, here?
No, that's perfect. You know, recently this company came and asked about this particular requirement they have. We're talking Scaled Agile, leading, Scrum Master and a lot of this. But we were able to tailor the program for them. And yeah, I'm pleased to say that we have a program coming up on 12th, 30th, or 13th, 14th of your time, which is great. It's about changing ourselves for the customer. How can we adapt and give them the value?
Exactly. You need to be in the right time, in the right place, in front of the right customer to deliver a right solution, which eventually delivers value to the customer. Right. So that is the key point. Thanks, Nana. Thanks for filling in. Right, our enterprise solution delivery becomes so complex, right? You can see all the things coming around, building all these systems in NASA, right? People are coming in, they dream big. They want to be involved in all these big dream projects, right? They create all this, and once they launch, things work. Sometimes they don't work, sometimes they fail, right? And I'm sure you've read this or even seen this in YouTube and other platforms, where when a rover was landed on Mars, right? They did test for 90 times to understand why it failed once, where the string of the parachute did snap off, right? So they did 90 tests to understand why did it snap off before they actually launched, because they don't get another chance. They're talking about millions and millions of dollars, which is going out there in space. So you need to have an enterprise solution delivery which works together, right? Which needs to innovate, which needs to experiment before the launch, right? And you need to fail fast, right? You need to fail fast and learn from that failure. I was in one of the organization where I got to know that a team was asked to go let away because they had a failed product, right? But the CEO, who had a lean mindset, came in and he said, no, we are not going to retrench this team because this team has got a lot of learning. If you let go this team, the team will go to our competitors, and when they go to our competitors, a lot of learning will go along with them, right?
Yeah.
He said it's fine for them to fail. Let's give them a second chance. They've got a lot of learning from the failures. And that's where you have many organizations coming up with 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. You see these organizations relaunch, right? They repurpose themselves, they relaunch, they come up with a new vision, a new strategy, and they move forward. And that's where the enterprise solution delivery plays an important role, where you have the big dreamers, the engineers, the software developers, right? They get things into reality. For them, it's very important to have a leadership which allows them to fail. And you need to have a good quality management system. The systems need to evolve, right? And you need to have multiple options. You need to work on multiple options of solution delivery, right? It's just not one. If you have one option, it fails, you have no other options. But if you have 4 options, if option 1 fails, option 2, 3, if 3 doesn't work, 4, right? When I moved to Australia, I had multiple options. But guess what? My option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4 didn't work. Option 5 worked, right? So things play a very important role. You need to have those options in place. If you're just with one option, you're always stuck. You can't get out of it. And you need to create that what if scenarios. PMI teaches that. There's a lot of tools doing what if scenarios, Monte Carlo analysis. But again, in enterprise solution delivery, we talk about what part of the solution can be fixed, what solution can be flexed, right? So what can be fixed, what can be flexed, what cannot change, and what can change. If it can change, to what extent it can change so that it delivers value to my customers. Any questions so far?
No, I'm going good. I have plenty of questions. Lots of people writing questions. So yeah, I will have lots of questions.
Yeah, so just give me a little heads up when we are 15 minutes away from the webinar. Is it?
So it's already, we have 10 minutes to go, but I think
Okay,
people
no
are
worries.
enjoying. We can continue for some more
I
time.
got you. Yeah.
Don't worry about time at this stage.
Okay, good. No worries. So lean portfolio management, very, very interesting. This talks about portfolio management, talking about investment management, agile portfolio operations, agile PMOs, which I just mentioned, dancing PMOs, lean governance, right? In this particular organization where I was working, Airbus Helicopters, they had multiple gates, right? So then we realized that these gates are important, but not all the gates are important. We need to have some gates which needs to be removed and have those technical gates rather than the management gates which come in. Organization agility, yes, it works on House of Lean, safe principles, agile manifesto, they all come together. You need to have lean thinking people, an agile team, right? You need to have your strategy, which is agile. Your strategy has to change. I'm not saying it has to change every day or every week, but people think strategy is written on a rock sent by God through Moses, but definitely not. It's important for us to revisit the strategies and see how the strategies are they still relevant at this point of time, which I've been talking. Continuous learning culture, I did talk about this quite a lot. You need to give time and space for people to innovate, build an innovation culture. I remember one incident in EMC where I used to work. There was one person who came up with an idea of having a single sign-on, and we said, "Are you lazy to remember different passwords?" He said, "Yes, I'm lazy to remember different passwords." The product which came out of his innovation was the RSA, remote support authentication, the keys. I'm talking about 2006, 2005 times when I joined EMC, right? So that spun up into a big organization itself. So you need to allow teams to innovate. In one of my recent conference, in my recent programs, one student said, in face-to-face training, you use post-it notes. Why can't you make it virtual, right? Today, you see a lot of different tools coming like Jamboards and all that, which will make things virtual, correct? So that's where you need to start looking at innovation, how you can make changes. Pivot without mercy or guilt, right? Have that experimentation feedback. Go and see Gemba, go and see the process. Give time for innovation, okay? Create innovation drippings, right? And again, in this program, we'll talk about how innovation cannot be, you cannot incentivize an innovation. Right, lean leadership, we did talk about this, leading by example, decentralizing decision making, right, being a long life learner, growing others, be an authentic leader, right? In this class, we do talk about some decisions need to be centralized, some decisions need to be decentralized. How do we do? How we create psychological safety? How do we, create a vision? How do we follow that Kotter 8-step approach where we create a vision, create a guiding force for delivering this vision, and how do we? So Deming says it's not enough that management commit themselves to quality and productivity. They must know what they must do, and it's the responsibility cannot be delegated. Right? If you cannot come, send no one. Okay, so basically that's what it is. So basically, you need to be there with the customer. You need to be in touch with the customer. If there is something which you can do, that customer connectivity and customer intimacy plays a very important role. When we go to organization implementing SAFe, this is one thing what I do as a consultant. I'm an SPC who's authorized to do this. We do a business agility assessment to see where your agile teams are right now. Currently, I'm working with an organization doing this assessment, right, to see where are they in their agile journey. You'll be surprised to know this organization from a traditional environment is all up from the leadership level until the team level going to adapt towards agility, and we're seeing how we can tailor the processes, tools, techniques, platforms, right? We have a platform. So Dharam and me, we have, so Dharam was asking before I come in, how do I introduce you? I said, in a joke, we could say, we are part of a team of 3, right? So we have one more person who actually builds platform and solutions for us. Okay, so that's VXO Digital. So we build platforms and solutions. So we are like a tripod stand. I don't call ourselves 3 idiots, but no harm in calling 3 idiots.
Actually, we are 3 idiots.
Yes.
Exactly. We think differently.
We think differently, right? So
yeah.
Exactly. So the third tripod stand, the third leg of the tripod stand is the person who's building up solutions for us, and he's been doing dedicatedly for the last 15, 20 years, I guess, Dharam?
Yeah, he's done a fabulous job. So We will bring him as well as one day. But also, if anybody is looking for integrated platform where everything happens one platform, yes, you have to talk to one of us, call us. We'll talk about that. So yes, that's a great product. Actually, I'm very proud of that.
Thank you.
So, Mansoor, anything else you have? I have lots of questions. I think you have yeah. So there's a program coming up. First of all, thank you, Mansoor, for bringing this so much knowledge in this 1 hour. And I know a lot to learn from you. And I think people are waiting to see. And I know at least one person. He happens to be my good friend. He has already shown interest. So if anybody who's joining interested in this program, so while this is a first program for VCare Project Management, my company, but it's not first program for Mansoor. Mansoor has been doing leading SAFe for many years. So, and I'm fortunate to have him as one of my good friend and trainer for this particular training. Other than Mansoor, I do have a lady from US. Her name is Michelle. So she will be looking after some of the future trainings, and who knows, we'll be doing lots of corporate programs. So this program is planned for 20th and 21st of February. Actually, this is Australian time date. So if you are in US, the date will be 19 and 20th. So on the slide, you can see some dates here, the time as well. For you, if you are in San Francisco, it will be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we are trying to come up with a time where virtually you can be in this program. Doesn't matter where you are. I know that if you are in Europe, it will be a little difficult, but we will accommodate your future requirement. If you have requirement, please come back to me, Dharam. I want to join this program. My team want to join this program, but it is time difference. So we'll come up with a future program. So as a part of this, participating in this program, I do have a code for you, and you can see that will help you to save 10% on the cost. The cost is already discounted. The full program fees is $9.99, but it's already discounted at $9.49. And on top of that, you will be able to save 10%. So that's, I think, good discount. And that's only applicable only up to 10th of February. If you are interested to join this program, please join as soon as possible. And reach out to me for any further clarification. If you're joining a group of 2 or 3 or 4, maybe corporate, let me know. I can do, or we can do some further discount. All right. So Mansoor, I do have lots of questions here. And if you are available, I think we can cover most of them here.
Yeah, sure.
So I have, yeah. So how can I ask this question earlier, but you said we will talk in later. So how can I advise C-level executive, let's expand, C-level executive of creating value stream with an agile focus in a company with the presence of in various countries? So this company I know is in multiple countries. So how can my friend do this? What he's asking for?
Absolutely. So as a kit for SAFe consultants, SAFe program consultant, first of all, you need a SAFe program consultant to deliver this. Okay, if you are an SPC by yourself, you can do it, right? So normally when I go into these large agile transformation which are spread across multiple countries, first I do a discovery call to understand why SAFe, should they go agile or not. Next, I talk to the executive leadership team and we do an executive briefing, and then we take a list of their pipeline of their products and services, what they currently have, and see how we can create value stream. Can people from different locations like India, China, Australia, US, UK, can they come together, right? Do their time zones match, right? So we need to work on not only the logistics, not just because we want to go SAFe, let's do it and it fails, right? We need to see the feasibility. We do a discovery call, right? We run a pilot and see how does it work. First of all, the leadership endorsement plays a very important role. So my friend, the first thing is get to your leadership team. Either you or a SAFe consultant can talk to your leadership team. We do a half-a-day executive briefing program, which we can do from WeCare. That's not a problem. So we do a half-a-day discovery and a briefing meeting with your senior execs to understand what is the level of your organization maturity and how we can move forward.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you. Does implementing agile in the enterprise, and agile is a scaled fashion change depending on the industry? Sorry, is it correct? So does implementing agile in enterprise and agile in scaled fashion change depending on the industry? So type of industry can the implementation change? I think that's the question.
Which industry? Come on.
So, like, you know, if you move from telco to shipping to other company, the implementing the agile is going to
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have case studies. So the link I've given you in the slides for case studies, you can go there and you can see how organizations in different industries have used Scaled Agile. It is not about how much agile, it's not about whether you need agile or you don't need agile. It's about how much agility does an organization need, right? To what level of the spectrum do you need? Which areas of processes, tools, techniques can you add agility, right? That's what it is, right? So no matter if your organization is traditional, even in construction, you'll be surprised to know that construction were the first industry before even the software development, but after manufacturing, to implement agile, but they did not implement in the right way and they failed. Now again, they've gone back and they started to see how they can add pockets of agile, right, in there. So it can be implemented. Answer is yes.
Yeah. So Mansoor, I've seen or I heard like the company I'm talking to, like they said, you know what, we tried and it worked, and we are not interested in agile anymore. So it's not, we cannot blame agile. The way it was tried to implement was there probably some problem in that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why talking to the right people and having the right people and doing the job will make the difference.
And that's where Dharam, rightly you pointed, that is a good point. You've got some people who are agile Nazis, they say nothing other than agile. And you have some traditional Nazis, they say nothing other than traditional, right? That is where you need to have that open-minded learning. Yes, there's a lot of good learning from traditional environment. There's a lot of good learning from the agile environment. How can we marry both of them together as required? And that's why I love SAFe. SAFe does that very well. It still talks about your roadmap. It still talks about risk. It still talks about dependency. It still talks about, documentation, still talk about delivering value. So it's very important to understand from both the perspectives for how do we solve a customer's problem. That is the priority, correct?
Yeah, perfect. And I have at least one person saying yes, I need this certificate. So looking forward to have you in the class. Thank you for your interest, and you have the coupon code. Yeah, I will. Once you're done, you let me know. I can send the link for joining the program.
Yeah, I'd like to add just one point, Dharam, before we close this. So this program is going to be virtual, as we know, but however, the experience will be as if we are face-to-face. Okay, so I would like all the participants in the class to switch on their webcams so that we have eye-to-eye contact. Okay, that's very important, right? And the second thing is we use Jamboards, right? So Jamboards are from Google. We create different teams, and we have within the teams facilitators who will facilitate. We'll have Zoom, and in Zoom we'll have breakout rooms, right? So it'll be completely activity based. So it's not one-way lecture. It's going to be completely activities as well as videos. So it's going to be a very highly interactive session. And to deliver this session, because normally delivering a SAFe program virtually is very, very difficult. So what SAFe did was we went through a training called training at the back of the room. So how do you engage your people, your participants who are not there in this room? Okay, that's a Sharon Bowman's training called training at the back of the room. So I went through that accreditation, and once we got that accredited, we started developing strategies of how can we make our class more engaging, right? And we are always here to listen and give your feedback and improve our classes. Thanks, Dharam.
All right. So I do have a few more questions. So is PI planning better executed by team manager or perhaps VPs in the organization?
No, not VP. So basically VP should be a part. It should be more of a release train engineer, someone from a program management role who understands the product, right, along with product management team. So the main person for this event is the release train engineer. Release train engineer in the traditional environment is the program manager. Okay, so the program manager is the right person, he or she, to deliver a PI planning session. But you'll have multiple participants, including the executives, including the enterprise architect, including the executives, including the product owners, product management team, and the delivery team. They all will be involved, but yes, planning a PI and facilitating PI. So there are different roles. There are few roles before PI, during a PI, and after PI. Okay, and that will be discussed in this class.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And so Scaled Agile have many tracks. Which one to pick being PM, project manager or program manager?
Okay. Anyone from the management role looking to transition into Scaled Agile framework, the first and important program is Leading Safe, which is what we have announced. Okay. Once Leading Safe is completed, you have different tracks. One is product owner, product management. The difference between Leading Safe and product owner, product management is product owner, product management talks about what happens before a PI plan. Okay. Whereas Leading Safe talks about what happens a little before PI plan, but talks mostly about the PI plan and a little after PI plan. Safe for teams, safe for Scrum Masters, safe for advanced Scrum Masters, talk mostly post PI plan. Okay, so the most fundamental program, if you want to have a holistic flavor, it's going to be Leading Safe. The other tracks become more specialized.
Yeah, perfect. Somebody asked why not 5.1 for training. Actually, this is 5.1. Yeah. On the website we have mentioned 5.0, but I think that's changed recently.
Yeah.
So the good point, it is the training is 5.1, not 5.0. Yeah. Okay, so we'll update the website as well for that. So thank you.
Yeah. 5.0.1. Okay, that's what the new version. So basically, when you do a certificate, you get 5.0. But Scaled Agile keeps updating the versions. Okay, it's only these versions which get updated for the slides. Okay, the certification doesn't change. Okay, certification changes only when the major changes, when there is from 4 to 4.5, 4.5 to 5 to 5.5, right? That's a major change. And when there's a major change, you'll have to go through your community portal to do some video tutorials and then do a small 25 questions exam. And then your certification gets automatically updated. Just to add a point, this fees what you're showing, which is shown on the screen, includes 1-year membership fees. With this membership fee, you get community portal login, which has got multiple videos, toolkits for you to implement SAFe, right? And also it includes the first exam fees. So basically this cost covers $100 for membership and $50 for the exam. So first exam and membership is already covered in this fee what you're seeing.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. Difference between product increment and program increment.
Product and program, right? So when we talk about program, we are talking about project program portfolio, right? And Dharam is an expert in program management, right? He's been a leading trainer there. When we talk about program, we are talking about multiple projects coming together, right? But when you talk about product, we are looking from a product perspective. We are looking from a life cycle of a product, from an inception or an ideation phase of a product until the decommissioning of a product. Think about Airbus as a product of Airbus machine, right? The A380 as a product, right? So now you're talking about this aircraft from an ideation phase, from when Dharam gets an idea about, I need to have a big airliner where I need to change, I need to shower, I need to get ready before I go to a conference, from that ideation phase until this machine is built and it gets decommissioned in the desert of Utah, where you have these big, Airbus machines go and get decommissioned or maybe become. So product is more, we're talking about multiple life cycles here, but program you're talking about multiple projects.
Great, thank you. Can you speak about roadmap and how to create it?
Looks like the team wants to have the whole SAFe class here itself. Okay.
I don't.
So good question. That's okay. So roadmap plays a very important role. So we talk about different products and we create a roadmap, right? So the roadmap talks about different time horizons. So in the class, we will talk about a roadmap and we'll talk about time horizons, and we'll talk about which are the products which are delivering value, right? Which are the cash cows, right? So basically a roadmap is a chronological set of events which is laid out for the next 3 to 5 years. Okay. In SAFe, we look at just 3 years. We don't want to think even beyond 3 years. So a roadmap will be a high level so that the other program and the teams follow and they get more detailed as you go. In a traditional environment, the same roadmap gets broken down into a master schedule and then got into a schedule if you're doing the PGMP and PFMP. Here we talk about one roadmap and the whole teams and the organization follows that roadmap and they become part of the roadmap.
Yeah. All right. Can you please share a link to create to a case study of worldwide company involved in local and global logistics?
Yeah, so it's been there. So I've shared the link. So in the slides, when you get these slides, there is a link called case study. So if you go there in the case studies in Scaled Agile Framework portal, right, there you will have case studies, right? So you can choose the industry. There's a drop down. If you go to the drop down, you can choose your industry. Based upon your industry, you can choose an organization and download the case study.
All right, I think this is the last question I have at this stage. My organization just introduced product management and is introducing the practice in the past 4 to 6 months. Is it better to introduce SAFe to C-level for project management or product management first in this case?
So it depends upon the maturity, right? So I think we need to have more conversation on this. So if you can schedule a time with myself, right? You can put Dharam in link and you can schedule a time. Then we can have more conversation on this and see which level. So basically we see whether your team level is agile or product level is agile, right? How open are your business, right? I would always start thinking from a leadership level. Look at your C levels to see how they can go, because their endorsement and leadership support is important. Once you get them on board, rest of the things become quite easy, right? So the product development, they all can come easily. The senior leadership endorsement plays a very important
role. Perfect. Good. Thank you very much, Mansoor, and thank you for all of you for putting the questions, so many questions. It was really a very interactive program, and I'm sure people will find the same level of interaction in your program, even more than this. I know this is one-way stream where people have to listen, you ask questions, but more like one way. But when in the class, you will be participating with Mansoor and a lot of activities are going to happen. So, you still have time, please go ahead and register. And also, if you are looking for more webinars, actually not far away, that's the 9th of February. I have a webinar coming up with Daniel Zell. He is in US and he has worked in Saudi Arabia as a consultant in the construction industry. So he's going to share his experience from that learning he had. So he was my PGMP student. So he passed the exam. So I invite people, especially the people who has learned organizational leadership roles, something they can contribute back. So please find the link and join that one. That's filling up very, very fast. So great. I think we have a follow-up question. Would be a good idea to have a call? Yep. Don't name me. I'm not going to do that. But mention I am someone who has followed you for years in LinkedIn. Of course you are. So you are one of our good friend, and you have been following, having discussion all the time. But yeah, thank you very much for your input today, and all the people who have participated in this discussion. I'm very, very honored to have Mansoor and all of you in this forum. So please keep encouraging us by sharing and bringing yourself again to this program, and share our videos and LinkedIn. Put the comments. If you don't like us, please let us know as well. If you want me to bring some more people or more ideas, I love to do that. So please keep this channel open for having interaction. You can book some time with Mansoor, book some time with me, and we will be happy to help you out in any form and shape. So with this, once again, thank you, Mansoor. It was really an honor and a privilege to have you in this session, and looking forward to have more and more sessions like this.
Thank you, Dharam. Thank you, team. Thanks, everyone. And I look forward to keep delivering these webinars at full classes. So we'll have a great time delivering these classes together.
Great.
Thanks, Dharam.
Thank you very much, and stay safe.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Bye.
Bye.